Unbridled Enthusiasm, a fanfic by Cold and Gardez. Reading by Bandy. Knock, knock. Twilight Sparkle said at the threshold of Starlight Glimmer's room. She didn't actually knock, of course. The door was already open, and she could see Starlight sitting at her desk, leafing through some journal or other from the library's periodical section. "Hey, Twilight." Starlight flipped the journal closed. "What's up? Need help with something?" "No, just thought I'd stop by, see how you're doing." Twilight stepped into the room and looked around. "Actually, there was one little thing I was hoping you could help with." "Of course!" Starlight leapt to her hooves. Her horn lit, and her saddlebags floated from their peg on the wall to her withers. "Where are we going?" No, not a mission. Just a question." Twilight pulled a few documents out of her own saddlebags and shuffled them before her. "It's just, I was going through the castle's invoices this morning for the budget meetings next week, and I found something that I thought was a little odd." "Oh." Starlight floated her saddlebags back to the wall. "What's that?" "Well, more shuffling of papers. This will sound weird, and it's probably nothing, and I feel stupid about it like the last time I thought you were hitting on my brother, but it turns out he just had some lint on his belly, and we all had a good laugh about it, and even though it was funny, and I kind of felt like you were all laughing at me, but anyway, I thought it was important enough to check, so here goes." Here she took a breath. "Did you by any chance order a premium subscription to www.livepigdissections.com? Oh. Starlight let out a little half laugh. "That! Oh, yeah, I could see how that would startle you if you just saw it on an invoice. I'm sorry, Twilight. I should have given you some kind of heads up. It's not what it looks like." "Whoo! I figured," Twilight grinned. A weight lifted from her shoulders. "Just a little misunderstanding. Fools and their website names these days, all crazy and startling and misleading." "I mean, wouldn't that be crazy? A website that actually sold videos of live pigs being dissected? Ah, what a nutty idea." Starlight smiled along with her. "No, it's nothing like that, Twilight. The videos are live. All the pigs are already dead." "The videos..." Twilight stopped and reconsidered her words. You're serious?" "Absolutely. All the videos start with a veterinarian certifying that the pig in question shows no signs of life, or its brain or spinal cord have been destroyed. No brain? No pain." "No, I mean..." Twilight closed her eyes. You watch videos of pigs being dissected? Ponies make videos of pigs being dissected?" "Well, of course. How else are you supposed to learn about anatomy?" "Books! From books! You don't need to cut a pig open." "How do you think those books get written?" Starlight asked. She sat on her haunches and held up a hoof to forestall Twilight's response. "Look, you know I love books, but books can't show you how intercostal muscles expand your ribcage and make you inhale, or the weight of the heart, or how the liver balances the body's humors." Twilight scowled. The shock and disgust bubbling in her gut gave way to something else. Indignation, and a little anger besides. "I can't believe this. Those were living beings, and you just cut them up for your own edification?" "Well, no, I don't cut them up. The doctors in the videos do. But you're correct about the important thing, Twilight. They were living beings. And now they're dead, and they don't care what happens to them. Why shouldn't we at least put their bodies to some good use?" "Because they're..." Twilight tried to keep speaking, but had no breath. Hyperventilating. That was it. She closed her eyes and lowered her head below her shoulders, focusing on her breathing. In, out. In, out, hold. Dimly, she was aware of Starlight rubbing her back with a hoof. Easy, easy, Starlight said. I'm sorry, Twilight. I didn't realize you felt so strongly about this. I wouldn't have been so cavalier. Twilight took as deep a breath as she could and let it out a second later. How can you not feel strongly about it? Starlight gazed around the room for a moment before fixing her eyes on the desk. Her horn glowed, and a feathered writing quill lifted from beside her ink pot to float over to them. It hovered in the air, flying again. You see this quill? Twilight nodded. Uh-huh. Did I ever tell you about it? Twilight shook her head. Starlight spun the quill idly as she spoke. Her eyes seemed to look beyond it. This feather's name is Ink Scratch. My mom gave him to me years ago after I won top prize in an essay contest at school. See those little blue dots on the barb? They're probably just marks from the quill cutter. But when I was a filly, I thought maybe the whole bird this feather came from had those blue spots. And she was a special bird, something beautiful like a peacock. And this feather came to me all the way from some distant land just so I could take notes. And every time the nib cracked, I've had a recut. Every time I've moved, she's been the first thing I pack. I saved almost nothing from our town, but I have Ink Scratch because I never let her out of my sight. Don't you think she's pretty? Twilight nodded. The residual anger in her heart had softened as Starlight spoke. Yeah, I have an ink pot that... Starlight snapped the quill in half. Twilight gasped. Starlight, what are you? It's a feather with a nib on it, Twilight, she said. I bought it last week from Davenport for 3 bits. I made all of the rest of that up. All I did was break a quill, like you do every week, but because I told you a story about it, you felt bad. The broken quill bits floated over to the trash can and fell, vanishing among crumpled papers and scraps of kite-making materials. Starlight continued. There's nothing wrong with dissecting dead animals, Twilight. It's necessary for us to understand the world. It only feels wrong if you tell yourself a story that makes you feel it's wrong. So tell a different story. Twilight stared at the trash can. How can you do that? Just change what you want to believe. Sentimentality is an indulgence, Twilight. Only the comfortable can afford it. Now come on. She nuzzled Twilight's shoulder and helped her stand. Want to see how a pig's lungs work? No! Of course she didn't. Why would she want to see that? To see how they adhered to the pleural walls, how the negative pressure of inhalation inflated them, how the diaphragm compressed to expel them? That was crazy. Maybe. Okay. Yes. Great! Let's start with this one here. You've been listening to Unbridled Enthusiasm, a fic by Cold and Gardez, read by Bandy. For more videos like this, please like, comment, and subscribe.